All right. Oh dear. Oh, yes I can. All right, seems this is working much better. So that's good. All right, so let's see here. I'm just gonna recap over everything I said in the last attempt at the stream, which is still going because I actually didn't turn it off yet. I'm gonna go do that. Or else it'll bother me. Duh. Flip. Stop. If I forcibly shut the app, will that make it stop? No, it will not. I will mess around with that later. Whatever. Alright. It's not like anyone really watches these after they're done anyways. So, yeah. Looks like this is working much better now. But yeah, Killer is the crackhead of the group. But he can get serious when he needs to. The epic stream. Alright. So, okay, I am on the sketching layer. Just gonna start by getting everything just basically sketched out. I don't need perfect detail. And it probably actually goes to about there with the other thingies, so that's gonna be like the cuff of the jeans. And that can just go up like that. But yeah. Killer is the crackhead, and we all love him very much. He's a very good boy. Alright, he does not have a fluffy hood. I just had to check and make sure that that part of my design for him was actually correct. So, yeah. And this is the part where it gets awkward because I have no clue what to say. Aw, thank you. Thank you, friend. But yeah, I don't know what to say. Oh, thank you. So, like, if anyone has any ideas for what I could talk about, feel free to suggest, please. I feel like that's... a bit too thick. Yes, because I have it set up like that so that I don't have to constantly glance over at my phone. That still seems too thick. I don't know anything about the crumbling economy of Zimbabwe. Maybe let's stick to topics I might know about. Good enough. Thick. Oh yes, all these people be thick. But see, Killer can be thick in two senses of the word. The meme sense, but also thick as in thick-headed. He can be he can be a big dum-dum. And that's okay. Because we all love him for who he is. We all love him very much for who he is. Me trying to find conversation topics be like... See, this is why I don't like going out in public in general. I'm horrible at small talk. I never know what to say. I never know what to do. I just suck at small talk. And I don't like small talk either. It's not like I enjoy small talk but just can't do it very well. I just hate small talk. Oh, thank you. I saw it popped up on my phone as I glanced over for a moment, but thank you very much. I don't make content as often as I wish I did. I'm trying to work on that, but I have executive functioning disorder, which means I have problems doing things. Like, what will end the human race? Oh, okay, there's a topic I can talk about. Thank you. I think that the human race will bring its own end, honestly speaking. We're going to bring our own end, whether it be through nuclear disaster like you see in many series, such as the Fallout series. Sorry for using that as an example for so many things. My brother got Fallout 4 recently, so I got to play Fallout 4, and I've been playing Fallout 4, and I'm loving it. I'm not very far yet, but I'm loving it. It's very fun. But whether it be through that or, like, civil war, the way we're seeing a lot of civil discourse going on right now, that's another way that the world very much could end. Yes, Fallout is a good game. Most of the Fallout games are good games. 76 is 76. It's got mixed. I have mixed feelings about 76. Because, well, on the one hand, it adds more into the lore. But also, it's basically pay to win. With all the microtransactions and, well, that's just, that takes the fun out of everything. It really does. Microtransactions, I don't really do them in games. Because I just feel like they ruin the fun. I like getting those things for myself and feeling the accomplishment, and I feel like microtransactions really cheapen the experience for me, and while I don't mind that, my internet's just crappy. While I don't judge people for using them per se, I definitely feel like it cheapens the experience for everyone when there are microtransactions. And hello, new person. Again. I am horrible at small talk, and do I know any games that did microtransactions well? Games where the microtransactions are, like, they make it more convenient to get things, but you can get everything in a microtransaction somewhere in the game normally without needing microtransactions, without needing anything to pay. That's when I feel like it's not as bad, but honestly, I just don't like microtransactions when it's a very pay-to-win sort of situation. And I know that that's not an unpopular opinion. It's not anything groundbreaking, me saying that, but it's true. It's just my actual stance on the issue. So, yeah, 76 has some mixed feelings because of that. But back onto the original topic of, I went off on a tangent because I do that. We were talking about what I think will end humanity, and my answer was humanity, and there's a lot of civil discourse. There's always the chance for nuclear annihilation. And then there's just, humans are stupid. Humans are freaking stupid. And nothing will ever change that. Humans are just stupid. Something I think really captures human stupidity very well that I just love, the Darwin Awards. Celebrating humanity's stupidity by showing off the good examples of people that were so stupid they removed themselves from the gene pool. Now that is always fun. Watching someone just take themselves out of the gene pool in some way or another, whether that be through death or just... Do you think we can recover from what we've done as humanity? I think it could be possible. I feel like Gen Z is probably the closest generation. Gen Z and millennials are definitely the closest to being able to do that. And I do say that as a member of Gen Z, yes, but I am being serious. I feel like if enough people just get tired of all of the nonsense, we have the ability to end it. And I suppose we could always manage to end it. Yes, we are. Also, this hair is not turning out well. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. But I feel like it's possible. If the older generations start to listen to the younger generations and take us seriously. Because we're seeing issues, we're seeing things that we can identify. Hey, this is clearly a problem. And we're being ignored. Microchip inventions that are being made. Like the microchips that like play music into your brain. The microchips that like act as a key card to your home that you can have implanted into like your fingertip. If that's what you're referring to, I think it's both really cool but also kind of a little scary because that's starting to get into some playing God in the metaphorical sense. And I'm not sure how comfortable I am with the thought of that. Because people could take things too far. Like, I think it's really cool, and the music one I definitely would want. Yes. Go away, poor connection thing. I don't care. You don't seem to actually be affecting anything. But yeah, so I feel like it's cool, but it's also a little intimidating. Because we don't know what's too far until we've gone too far. And to bring up another video game example to this, BioShock. I believe it's the original BioShock. Really exemplifies this very well. I'll go hunting for the video I watched that kind of shows off how this really works with this theme. I'll find that and I'll put that in the description. I'll put that in chat. It should be in my history. Let's see how far back it is, though. I don't think it's that far back, is it? It actually isn't. Oh, thanks. I'm actually pretty self-conscious about my voice, so it's really nice to hear that. But yeah, that is the video that shows off a lot about BioShock, and like how it really goes with that. Humanity can go too far. There is a limit to everything, and the ways that it can be surpassed can be scary. BioShock and again Fallout are very good examples of this, because in Fallout it's the experiments by Vault Tech in the vaults, and some of them are just absolutely horrifying. With no one, Mom, I'm just talking to a recording.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a chance to feed the pups?
Not yet. I'll do that in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. Like I was saying, where was I? Right. With Fallout, a lot of the human-animal fusion things. Are you talking about, like, characters, or is that something that's actually starting to happen? Like, not just as a meme, not just the cat girl meme, but my mom does not know I do streaming stuff, so no, I will not be getting Mom on the stream. The thing that what's Japan doing? What? If you can't tell, I'm not always the most caught up on current events. You may need to actually, like, give me more information. So wait, are you saying that someone, like a biologist in Japan, actually got permission to try and make human-animal hybrids? Is that what I'm hearing? Because if that's actually a thing, I think it's both terrifying but also really cool. And can it be done to a human that's already alive and been alive for almost 18 years? Because if so, sign me the heck up. But, like, okay, it depends. Because, like, if they just get the little pig ears and the pigtail, that would be cute. But, like, maybe not the snout. Let's maybe not do that. But consider Fox girls. Just consider for a moment, chat. Just consider. Yeah, humanity can be scary, but awesome. Like, on the one hand, it's awesome seeing what things we're capable of making and doing. But on the other, it's scary to think about what would happen if we went too far. But I'd like to just rant for a moment on Fallout, unless I'm waiting on something in chat to come through. Because chat is apparently being a little bit laggy. So I'm going to give that a minute just to catch up and make sure. Okay, it seems like I'm good. And hey, I'm not a fangirl. I'm really loving it. I've been watching a lot of Fallout lore videos lately, as I've been doing my art, as I've been doing speed paint things that I'm working on. And it's really interesting because it's really just playing into my love of my morbid curiosity, really. It plays into that really well. Because, like, so many of the experiments being done by Vault-Tec are absolutely horrifying. Like, for example, I don't remember which vault it was off the top of my head, but there was one vault. I believe it might have been, like, 90-something. But basically, it was in an elementary school. Or middle school. It was a middle school. And that's where the vault was located. And so they had a bunch of students, they had a bunch of kids in there with their families. They took all the adults and killed them, and then started raising the children to become, like, super soldiers, basically, like military upbringing, until there was a revolt that ended up causing the deaths of everyone in the vault. Or almost everyone, really. I believe, if I remember correctly, some of them did get out. I don't remember, though. I would have to rewatch the videos. But, like, that's just one example of all the crazy messed up stuff that Vault-Tec does. And it really, really hits me in that morbid curiosity that I have. Like, I've always been very, very interested in the supernatural and ghost stories and stuff like that because I have a very... I actually don't know anything about Halo. FPS games aren't usually my thing, or even third-person shooters. Shooters in general are not usually much my thing. I enjoy Fallout more for the scavenging and the story than anything. Well, I'll definitely take a look into some videos about it. Skyrim is a game I really want to play, but we don't own. Big sad. Ooh, sounds interesting. I will definitely look into that. And by Oni, you mean like Japanese Oni, like demons, evil spirits, right? Or is it like some substance thing? Oh my god. I'm definitely gonna need to adjust this. You know what? I'm just gonna go for like the general gist of the shape of the hairstyle. I'm not gonna try and duplicate it because I'm not liking how that's turning out. Ooh, Office of Naval Intelligence. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely give that a look. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm gonna just, it might be because my pencil's lines are just being too big. I'm gonna try doing that. But yeah, I've been doing that recently. I've also been watching a lot of SCP videos lately, like SCP files narrated. And that's really cool. I find that to be a really cool thing. Let's see here. I find stories like, I'm a true crime fan. I love true crime. I find it to be very interesting. Like, I'm not quite sure what it is about true crime that I find so interesting, but I just do. Like, it could just be the suspense of it all. Could be, like, the fact that it's true stories and it's, again, hitting that spot of the morbid curiosity that I have. Like, I find myself interested by the weirdest of things. Any good true crime stories? I would have to think for a little bit on that. I do know that there are plenty of really good YouTube channels that do true crime content. And when I have a moment, I'll definitely look through my subscriptions for the one I'm thinking of, because I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I do remember she lives somewhere in the British Isles area. Can't remember if it's actually England or if it's like Scotland. But like, you can hear the accent. It's very thick. She has a lovely voice. And in general, I love the true crime content. I love ARGs, alternate reality games. If you're looking for a really interesting alternate reality game, I would say look into This House Has People in It, or really anything by Wham Comedy Central. They are masters at it. And it's just so freaking cool. Another good ARG, and I'm just talking about like completed things right now. Another good one, Daisy Brown. A couple good channels for looking at ARG content, and like true crime, scary stuff in general. Nexpo, Nexpo, Rainbot, and rain is in like to rein in a horse, not rain is in the weather. And Nightmind. Those are all channels that I really enjoy. And then another channel that I have found pretty recently, that has some pretty interesting content, is Cadaver. Cadaber. And that's got, he does some really cool Reddit stuff. Give me just a moment. I'm looking for the true crime thing. Not many videos yet, but the videos he does have are really cool. Not all of them are true crime related, but they're all really interesting.
Hello everybody and welcome back.
Eleanor Neal. EleanorNeale. She does basically exclusively true crime content. Both solved and unsolved. She does a lot of murders, but she also does some other things as well. And her channel's really cool. I completely messed up here. And you know how I'm gonna fix it? I'm just gonna pretend that line never existed. It wasn't there. I don't know what you're talking about. But those are some really cool channels that I recommend, definitely. Does she cover Ted Bundy? I'm not sure if she's covered Ted Bundy. I don't know if she has or not, but she has covered a lot of really cool things. We got serial killer playlist. Let's see here. I'm not sure if she has, but she's done some really, really cool ones. She has over 100 videos. Is this my first time commentating? Not technically, but like basically, and I am no good at it, if you can't tell. I turned the mic on a whim because someone on Discord said, hey, you should do commentary over it. A lot of people like to listen to it in the background, and I was like, yeah, I do that a lot, so sure, I'll try giving back. Only to forget, wait, I suck at talking to people in general. So yeah, this is basically my first time doing this. First time having anyone interact. I'm starting to like where this is going. Thanks. The thing is, I do better with scary stories like that I can read or listen to or even games than I do with movies. Because with all those, I'm in control of when I stop. But like with movies, I feel like I can't as much. I've watched the first Saw movie, and if I remember correctly, I can't remember if I finished the second Saw movie or not. If I did, then I've watched part of the third, and if I didn't, then I've only watched the first and part of the second. And it was just too much for me. And yet, I love reading about that sort of stuff. And I've even started writing something that has a lot of inspiration taken from Saw. And Cupcakes / Muffins, which is a really good My Little Pony Grimdark for anyone who actually reads those. Have I played Amnesia? No. I have not watched gameplay of Amnesia either, because back when Amnesia was big, I was much younger and I was not at all into horror content. I just could not stand it because I was much younger. I'm gonna start doing more in another layer so that I don't mess this up. Machine for pigs? What? I know of Amnesia. I know of Amnesia Dark Descent. But Amnesia Machine for pigs? Was that like a typo? Or am I just really that far behind? I'm just trying to get the messy, I am very energetic vibe from this guy at this point. Huh. I've never even heard of that one. No! Okay, there we go. But, like, my love of the true crime genre started with the fact that when I was younger, for the longest time, back when we actually still used our cable, which we still have, but almost never freaking use. Back when I actually watched TV, my dad usually was in charge of the remote because, well, fathers are always in charge of the remote. Apparently it's because they pay for the cable or something. I don't get it. Anyways, I don't like how that's turning out. The channel he'd always have it on is Investigation Discovery, a channel dedicated to nothing but true crime. And at first it scared me a lot, and I hated listening to it. But as I got a little bit older and started actually like paying attention to it, I got sucked into the mystery aspect. And I'd start trying to guess along with who was the killer, who it would be in the end. And I found that to be very fun. I found that to be entertaining, and that's where my love of the true crime genre started. So that's where it started. I don't remember how I first found Night Mind, which was my introduction into the world of ARGs. I believe it was through either Everyman Hybrid or Marble Hornets. Yeah. But like from there, I started branching out and watching more of the videos, and I started to get really, really into ARGs, and I'd like to someday maybe make a sort of ARG-like thing myself. Something with some audience interaction that has all those elements I really, really enjoy. That's something I'd like to do someday. I have my ideas that I'm making. Do I plan on going anywhere with this channel? I've tried to multiple times. I'd love to. I just don't always have the attention span. I need people to start reminding me, hey, get something out, even if it's just a tiny little speed paint, even if it's just a little, hi, I am alive. I've not abandoned this. I just have not done anything. Oh, doing it full time? No, I have other aspirations. It's something that I'd love to do, but I do have other plans with my life, so I'd probably only do it part-time at most. I want to be a teacher. That's my thing. That's what I want to be. And specifically, I want to teach, like, kindergarten. The very first year of school, other than preschool. That's what I want to teach. Because I do really well with little kids. I love little kids. Little kids seem to love me. I'm like a little kid magnet. So that's actually what I'm going to be getting a degree for, is elementary education. I mean, yeah, kindergartners can be scary, but the age that I would be terrified to teach, middle school. 6th, 7th, 8th graders, even like early high school. Because people at that age can be freaking brutal. Not all of them, but some of them. Kids in that age range actually do intimidate me. I will admit. But like little kids, I love. They can be such sweethearts. Yeah. I tend to like to try and forget about my middle school years. I liked this, but now that I have this does not go with it, so unfortunately it will have to go. I feel like, there we go. That recycles that little shape that I had, but makes it more in line with what I've got now. I'm actually getting somewhere with this. I'm excited. I want to do this again. All right. But yeah, taking this full time is something I'd considered in the past, but like at this point it would probably be a part-time hobby thing more than anything else. Maybe some like, hey, any extra money that I do get from this would be awesome, but like I don't use it to survive. It's not my full-time career. Because especially with how YouTube is now, I don't want to give YouTube that power over me. I think that little bit may need to come last. How long do I think YouTube is going to last? It'll last as long as it doesn't have any good competition. Because right now, YouTube has basically monopolized. Like, it's not an actual monopoly, but practically speaking, it is. So I think it'll last until there's a good competitor out there that can get out there. And until that happens, we just need to fight for YouTube to care about its content creators. Are we back? Are we back? Okay. Okay, so my thing said it stopped broadcasting for a moment there, so I freaked out. We're good. What was I talking about again? I legitimately can't remember. I have Swiss cheese memory. Apologies for my terrible, horrible memory. Truly. Because I can never... I have a horrible memory. And I got it from my mom. Ah, right, YouTube and its future. Thank you. Trying to remember exactly what I was talking about. Now that I have the basic topic, I probably should be able to remember just fine. I could always go back and watch a couple minutes back in the stream to see what I was talking about, but I hate the sound of my own voice over the mic, so I'm not going to do that. It looks goofy, and I love it, and I'd keep it like this, but like... I really, really probably shouldn't. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna remember. me struggling to figure out what to talk about now that I've completely forgotten where I had been. Like, once I get onto a topic, I can get onto it until something gets me off. I think I should probably rephrase that. Until something takes me off topic. That was close. That. Is teaching really the last thing I was talking about? But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be an elementary school teacher, and I'm very sorry. Favorite movie? Oh dear. I don't really have a favorite movie per se, but this brings up a really interesting story about me that I can't remember personally, but I have been told this story by so many of my relatives that I know for a fact that it's true. When I was a baby, my favorite movie was Shrek. Like, I could be fussy, I could be very unable to do anything, but as soon as they'd sit me down in front of Shrek, I would just sit and watch it and behave. So, I was just raised on memes, I guess. And, like, I feel like that both answers a lot of questions about me, but also poses even more. But, like, I legitimately loved Shrek when I was a baby. And, like, yeah, Shrek is a good movie and all. But, like, I don't think I could literally watch it on loop 24/7 and not, like, start maybe getting a little bored. Yeah, Shrek was a great movie. I just don't think I could watch it on loop 24/7. You know? But if I had to pick, one film that I think is my favorite right now, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched an actual movie in so long, I don't think... Edge of Tomorrow, never heard of it. Okay, would you count Legally Blonde as a movie or a musical? Because if you count Legally Blonde as a movie, then Legally Blonde. If you count it as a musical, which it is a musical, yes, then I don't know. This part of the stream is just watch Muse struggle with that last tiny bit of hair. I did it. I'm just gonna darken that up a bit, and I'm not gonna touch it. Just gonna erase what fell in there, make sure there's nothing there, and I'm done. I'm done with the hair. I'm not done with the hair. Because now that I have that, like, nice looking natural part area there, having the curls right there looks really weird. Oof. This comes through right after I was like, I did it, I didn't do it. That. Nice timing, chat. Nice timing. You know what? I'm gonna make these floaty curls. Because these are humanized monster skeletons. Skeleton people. They don't need to follow physics. Plus, Muse has a floaty curl, and Muse is supposed to be humanoid. Like, Muse as a character, design-wise. Because Muse is both me, but also a character because the character is just, like, my most self-representative character. So screw it. Floaty curls, and no one can stop me. Which means it's time to get these in a position I like. Yay. And for the final test, I feel like maybe it could go out more there, but I'm done. I'm done messing with it. It looks good. I like it. I'm okay with it. I'm calling it done. I am so very excited. I did it. Usually hair isn't too bad. And now watch as since it goes that freaking high, it bothers me. I'm going to do that to save my work. I'm gonna start by getting to be like that. I'm gonna allow that to go out a bit more. I'm not sure if that's much better. I'm honestly not sure if that's any better. It completely covers his eyes. And you know what? With the whole running gag that he keeps running into trees, I think that's okay. I'll leave both as options. Because I've finished Killer's sketch. I like to at least try to be organized with my art stuff like this. And, chat, I will be right back. I have to feed my dogs. Alright, the doggos now have food. Did I miss anything in chat? No, it does not look like I missed anything in chat. Alright. And this is just meant to be a basic sketch. Yeah, I'll decide which of those I like better later. Because we are moving on. Yes, yay doggos. To Dream! And yes, Dream looks like a girl. I'm okay with this. And this one here, that's Dream. So, a few challenges I'm gonna have to face. That arm. I will just start by drawing the outfit, ignoring the arm's existence. That happens sometimes. Which will be hard, but I can do it, I think. Alright, so I'd say that little gem clasp is about there. To be honest, that's probably gonna end up being cut off like that. He's the one crying for his mom. That's the one whose life is flashing before their eyes. That's gonna be cross. And, like, now that I have Killer drawn, I can actually, like, if I feel like it, just be like, nope, I'm done with Dream for now. Like, I love you, honey, but no, you're frustrating me. And I can just move on to Cross down there. Since their designs will, like, barely even overlap. They overlap here, and that's it. And there's nothing on his hands. Now it's time for Muse is very bad at figuring out how to put clothes onto weird positions like this. You know what? I think I'm gonna come back to that part of his outfit because that was horrible. And we're gonna start with his shirt. Yes, it is. So we've got Killer Sans, Dream Sans, Cross Sans, and then Nightmare Sans. I just realized, like... But yeah, that's what these characters are.
You just fed them, right?
Hmm? Little sleevey cuff thing. Little sleevey cuff thing. And just the rest of the sleeve.
Yes, Brooklyn. No. You guys are going out here. I'm going to go out front where there's no one.
Alright, so something really interesting about his design. They don't really have gloves that work for this in Gacha, which is what I use to just like design the outfits and stuff. But the gloves that I give him are actually archery gloves. So since these are not working out, I'm just gonna erase to like there because I'm okay with that, but everything to like that point I hate and want to get rid of. So I think I'll actually work on the gloves because I can do the gloves. Because they are archery gloves. And the type that I picked out specifically have all the fingers covered except for the pinky. If I remember correctly. God, now I'm second guessing myself. Oh, that was so many years ago at this point, I honestly can't even remember. But, like, for the most part, I love the community. Like, there are the bad apples, but every community has those. I like to look at the brighter, nicer, happier side of the community. And by that, I just mean, like, actual people, not like the content itself. Like the content can be really dark and still come from like really nice people and still be in that good side of the fandom because it comes from nice people. And now ranting on somebody who I don't even understand their standing in the community anymore. Joku Blog! Yay! If you can't tell from the absolute pain in my voice, Joku Blog frustrates me, to put it politely. Like, I get that having people say that, like, a concept is theirs and, like, not quite specifying correctly what they mean by that, and thus making people think that Dreamtale as a whole is supposed to be theirs, or, like, people saying that since it's a sans, the character isn't yours. I get that that's frustrating, but, like, be polite to your fan base. Be nice. Also, learn to write interesting characters. Like, legitimately speaking, I want to rant about Ken and Dream and Nightmare for a minute. Not the way that I characterize them, not the way that most people characterize them. Actual canon. Out of all of them. And we're counting Passive and Corrupted as two separate entities, since that's what they are, canonically speaking. Passive Nightmare is the only even slightly interesting character. And even then, he's very bare bones. No pun intended. Like, and then after that, I'd say the most interesting to play around with is Canon Nightmare. Cruel, heartless, perfect for if you need a bad guy that is irredeemable. Or just a bad guy that you love to see being bad. Like, he's good for that. Canon Nightmare is great for that. And, like, I will admit, I have written Nightmare with that characterization before. But, like, to really rant on Dream is a very, very 2D character in canon. Like, to the point where it's almost kind of, I'm not going to say Mary Sue, Gary Stu-ish, but a very, very uninteresting and flat character because of the caveat. Peace. Because of the caveat that he can only feel positive emotions. He cannot feel negative emotions at all because of who he is. And while that can be interesting to play around with, it's just a very flat characterization that's very hard to work with. If you can't give a character the chance to feel sad, or even the chance, like, the only way to make that whole physically cannot feel negative emotions thing at all interesting, the only way that that's interesting is this is a moment where I should feel sad, or I should feel mad, or I should feel this negative emotion. But I just don't. And I dislike that, but I can't even really dislike it. That's the only thing that sort of characterization is really interesting with. Otherwise, it's very flat, it's very boring, very 2D, very bleh. So, I personally like giving him some angst. I like giving him the negative feelings, and that's not just because I like writing hurt comfort. That's not just the fact that I am amazing at hurt comfort. That's just my actual preferences for characters and how to write a somewhat interesting and engaging character. You need to be able to give them conflict. And without the ability to feel anything negative, you can't really make much good conflict with that character, especially not when they are the actual protagonist of the story. Because when it comes to Dreamtale, Dream is the protagonist. Nightmare is the antagonist. And when your protagonist cannot have any good conflict, any meaningful conflict, you're setting yourself up for failure. But overall, yeah, I will reference Dreamtale canon for things, but I do not really subscribe to it. Because it's boring. It's dull, it's flat, it's not the best characterization. And I really, really wish that I could be as excited about canon Dreamtale as I am about the fanon Dreamtale that most people go off of. Exactly. And negative emotions are the basis of a weakness. It's not often that positive emotions become a weakness. And when it's done right, that can be done great, yes, but like, you really need to have negative emotions to make weaknesses work at all. The only time this isn't the case is when we're talking about physical weaknesses. And even then, blocking off an entire half of the emotional spectrum from a character is just not very good. I'm going to be honest. It's horrible character writing. It's horrible story writing. So, the compromise I like is the whole very real phenomenon of depressed people will often put on a mask, pretending to be happy. Also, you cannot tell me that he's not traumatized. Because what he went through, he has trauma, and I love to see some dream with PTSD. I love a dream whose favorite food things have apples, but can no longer look at apples or anything apple related without freezing up and remembering the past. A dream who absolutely cannot stand any form of bullying or harassment because the last time... Alright, that happened again. Because my internet is a dick. Oop. All right. If you would stop, please, program, that would be great. We're on our last legs. I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna say that in chat.